Welcome to ASTRALX Eliminating Your Cosmic Path. I'm Solarian Zephyr, your cosmic strategist, and I am so excited to be diving into the stars with you today.
And I'm Lunaria Celine, your intuitive guide, and together we'll be exploring the profound ways the cosmos influences your life.
Today we're focusing on a fascinating and powerful combination. Ever feel like you have the spark of a pioneer, but also sort of like the wings of a messenger?
Interesting.
Like all at once inside of you.
Yeah.
That's what it means to be an Aries Sun with Gemini Rising.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're going to be eliminating today on ASTRALX. We're going to help you understand this unique blend of energies.
Yeah.
And what coming 25 has in store.
Exactly.
It's a potent mix, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So Aries, you are the first burst of energy in the zodiac.
Yes.
Pure fire.
That's right.
So for our listeners, imagine that fearless leader,
Yes.
always charging ahead.
Absolutely.
First one in, ready to take on anything.
Yeah. Always up for a challenge, that pioneering spirit.
But then,
Yeah.
with Gemini Rising, you add a layer of air to that fire.
Ooh, interesting.
So now we have this quick thinking,
Yeah.
social butterfly,
Right.
always up for a good conversation.
Always learning, always curious.
It's like having a rocket engine
Okay.
with a super sharp steering system.
I like that.
You can reach incredible heights,
Yeah.
but you need to know where you're aiming all that power.
Right. Yeah. That's so important.
Now, one thing that can be a little tricky for this combo
Yeah.
is feeling pulled in too many directions.
Absolutely. I was going to say that. Yeah, all of that mental energy,
Yes,
it can lead to scattered focus.
exactly.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing.
Okay.
That Aries Sun,
Uh-huh.
that core of fiery willpower,
Yes.
it can actually help you stay grounded.
So it's about harnessing that inner fire
Yeah.
to fuel your goals,
Mm,
but also using that Gemini adaptability
yes,
to navigate any twists and turns that might pop up along the way.
precisely.
Okay.
And 2025 is going to be full of twists and turns. It's a year of profound transformation, marked by significant planetary movements that will influence every area of your life. Okay, so cosmic shakeups.
Yeah.
I love it. Tell me more. What can our listeners expect from these cosmic shifts?
Well, in April, Saturn, the planet of structure and discipline,
Huh.
moves into your 10th house,
Okay.
the area of career and public image. This transit is all about getting serious about your goals, especially those long-term aspirations.
Now, Saturn has a reputation for being a bit of a tough teacher.
A little bit, yeah. He can be demanding.
What kind of lessons might he have in store for our listeners?
Think of it as a cosmic boot camp
Ooh,
for your ambition.
I like that.
Saturn demands hard work, commitment.
Uh-huh.
He's here to help you build a solid foundation for your future,
Okay.
but he's not going to hand you any shortcuts.
So for our listeners, this might feel like a push to finally pursue that dream career.
Yeah.
Go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe launch that business they've been thinking about.
Exactly. And it's not about like sudden overnight success.
Yeah.
It's about that consistent effort and a willingness to play the long game. It's like a marathon, not a sprint.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So I can already see our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners ready to take on this challenge.
Yeah, they are ready.
Now, speaking of career shifts,
Yeah.
there's another celestial event happening in March.
Oh.
That might be particularly relevant.
Okay.
The worm moon
Yes.
in March brings a powerful turning point for productivity and routines.
I like it. I like it.
This lunation might spark a change in your work environment, or maybe it's just the energy boost you need to finally complete a major project.
Right.
So a potential shakeup for some, a surge of motivation for others. Either way, it sounds like the career sector is definitely a hot spot for our listeners in 2025. Now, what about love and relationships?
Ooh, love.
Matters of the heart. What's the forecast?
Well, the beginning of the year might feel like a period of introspection with a focus on personal growth. You might need some space to explore your own path,
Uh-huh.
which could create a little distance in your relationships.
So maybe not the time for grand romantic gestures or whirlwind romances.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But don't worry, things start to heat up in May.
Right.
When Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, enters your first house of self-identity.
Okay, so Jupiter is known for bringing good fortune. This sounds promising. What kind of influence can our listeners expect from this transit?
Get ready for a boost in confidence and optimism. You'll be radiating charisma, which can strengthen existing relationships and attract new connections. It's a time for deepening bonds and exploring new possibilities.
So for our listeners, this could mean feeling more confident in expressing their needs in a relationship,
Yeah.
or maybe finally feeling ready to put themselves out there and meet someone new.
Precisely.
Okay.
This transit is all about opening your heart to new experiences and connections.
It sounds like a time for love to blossom in all its forms.
Absolutely, yes.
Now, are there any specific months our listeners should mark on their calendar in 2025?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
May, June, and September look especially favorable with Jupiter and Saturn aligning to support growth and abundance in all areas of life. These months hold potent energy for career advancements, deepening relationships, and expanding your horizons.
Those are definitely months to watch.
Yes.
So what about the more challenging periods?
Right.
Are there any times when our listeners might need to be extra cautious or introspective?
Yeah, January, February, and April might bring some challenges, particularly around finances and health. This is a time for careful planning, mindful spending, and prioritizing self-care.
So maybe not the best time to make risky investments or take on too many new commitments?
Exactly.
Okay.
Use these months to reflect, recharge, and strategize for the months ahead.
It's like taking a cosmic pause, a time to gather your strength and prepare for the next chapter.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of challenges,
Yes.
we need to revisit Saturn's influence.
Oh, right. Yes.
His presence in your 10th house can also bring feelings of pressure, setbacks, delays, especially when it comes to career aspirations.
That's right.
So how can our listeners navigate these potential obstacles without losing their motivation?
Remember, Saturn's challenges are ultimately opportunities for growth. He's teaching you valuable lessons about resilience, discipline,
Yeah.
and perseverance.
It's like he's putting you through a cosmic obstacle course
Yes.
to test your strength and your determination.
Exactly.
So instead of viewing setbacks as failures,
Right.
see them as opportunities to learn, to adapt, and to come back stronger.
Absolutely.
And remember, you have that fiery Aries spirit and that adaptable Gemini mind.
Yeah.
You are equipped to handle whatever challenges come your way.
You got this.
Now, before we move on to the fascinating topic of masculine energy,
Okay.
we need to touch on another area that might require some extra attention in 2025.
Ooh.
Health.
Yes.
With Saturn's influence on your 12th house, the area of the subconscious and hidden matters, coupled with Jupiter's transit,
Right.
you might experience some physical discomfort, particularly related to your chest, bones, and joints.
It's possible.
So for our listeners, this could manifest as aches and pains, or maybe even some respiratory issues.
Can be. Yeah.
It's definitely something to be mindful of. The key here is prevention and early intervention.
I agree.
So listening to your body,
Yes.
taking breaks when you need them, and seeking medical advice if something feels off.
Exactly.
This is also a good time to explore alternative healing modalities like yoga, meditation, or energy work.
Oh, good idea. Yeah.
So incorporating practices that support both your physical and energetic well-being.
I love that.
And remember, your health is a valuable asset. Taking care of yourself is not selfish.
So true.
It's essential for achieving your goals and living a fulfilling life.
I completely agree.
Now, before we dive into the masculine energy of our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners, we need to talk about property matters in 2025.
Oh, okay.
The stars suggest proceeding with caution, especially in the first half of the year.
Interesting.
What should our listeners be wary of?
I would say avoid properties with legal or financial entanglements. Do your research, consult experts, and make sure everything is above board before making any significant investments.
So due diligence is key. No rushing into any major real estate decisions, especially before May.
Exactly. And this cautious approach extends to relationships, particularly in July. This month brings fantastic potential for business ventures,
Okay.
but be mindful of potential conflicts in your personal relationships.
So use that Gemini diplomacy
Right.
to navigate any disagreements and avoid unnecessary drama.
Choose your battles wisely and focus on building strong, supportive connections.
Okay.
Now,
Yes.
let's delve into the fascinating blend of masculine energy
All right.
that defines our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners.
This is where things get really interesting.
I know, right?
We have the assertive,
Yeah.
driven force of Aries,
Yeah.
combined with the communicative, adaptable nature of Gemini. It's a powerful combination of masculine energy, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
But as we know, masculinity is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It's about expressing your unique strength and gifts authentically.
Yes, exactly.
So whether you're a natural leader, a brilliant communicator, or a creative innovator, there are countless ways to embody your masculine energy.
That's so true.
It's about owning your power,
Yes.
embracing your vulnerabilities,
Right.
and expressing yourself with confidence and authenticity.
It's about defining masculinity on your own terms.
Yes.
And using it to create a life that feels aligned with your true self.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I'd love to hear your thoughts on how this unique blend of masculine energy might manifest in the lives of our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners.
Well, I think one of the most striking aspects of this combination is the ability to blend action with intellect. They have the fire to initiate, the air to strategize, and the charm to inspire others.
It's like they have this innate ability to turn ideas into reality.
Yes.
They can envision a goal, communicate it effectively, and then take the necessary steps to make it happen.
Exactly.
And with Saturn's influence this year, they'll be learning to channel that energy with greater discipline and focus, creating a potent force for achieving their dreams.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a powerful image to leave our listeners with as we wrap up part 1 of this deep dive. We've covered so much ground already, from career and love to health and even property matters.
We have more to come.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon to guide you deeper into the cosmic currents of 2025.
For our Aries Sun,
Gemini Rising listeners.
we've already uncovered some fascinating insights in part 1.
Yes, we have.
Now let's explore how you can really harness this powerful blend of fire and air to create a truly remarkable year.
Okay.
Remember, you have this incredible cosmic superpower within you. The drive and courage of Aries,
Yeah.
combined with the adaptability and communication skills of Gemini.
It's a potent mix. But how can our listeners translate this cosmic energy into tangible results?
One of the most important things is setting clear and specific goals.
Yeah.
We touched on this earlier,
Mm-hmm.
but it's worth emphasizing.
Right.
So no more vague wishes or half-hearted intentions.
Okay, so we need to get laser focused.
Exactly. Write down your goals, make them specific, and break them down into actionable steps. This is where that Gemini adaptability comes in handy.
Okay.
You can adjust, pivot, and find creative solutions to any obstacles that arise.
I love that image. It's like having a built-in GPS system for your dreams. You know where you want to go, and you're able to navigate the journey with flexibility and resourcefulness. Now, we know Saturn is in the 10th house of career this year, emphasizing discipline and structure. How does that play into the goal-setting process?
Saturn reminds us that success isn't about overnight miracles. It's about consistent effort, dedication, and a willingness to put in the work.
So for our listeners, this might mean creating a detailed plan, setting deadlines, and holding themselves accountable.
Precisely. It's about showing up for yourself and your goals day after day, even when it's challenging.
And remember, you have that fiery Aries determination to keep you going. Now let's talk about another crucial aspect of success: networking and communication.
Ah, yes. This is where Gemini Rising listeners truly shine. You have this natural gift for connecting with others, building relationships,
Yeah.
and sharing your ideas with enthusiasm and charisma.
So how can our listeners leverage these skills to create opportunities and achieve their goals in 2025?
This is the year to expand your network, attend industry events, connect with mentors,
Okay.
and build your online presence. Don't be afraid to reach out to people you admire, share your ideas with confidence, and seek out collaborations.
And remember, with Jupiter entering your first house in May, your charm and charisma will be amplified. People will be drawn to your energy and your enthusiasm.
It's a time to embrace your natural magnetism and allow yourself to shine.
Now let's shift our focus to another area where our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners can truly excel in 2025: creativity and innovation.
This is where things get really exciting. You have the fire to ignite new ideas
Yes.
and the air to spread them far and wide. This is the year to think outside the box, challenge conventional thinking, and come up with fresh, innovative solutions.
So whether it's launching a new business, developing a groundbreaking product, or simply finding creative ways to solve everyday challenges, Our listeners have the cosmic support to make it happen.
Exactly. Embrace your inner innovator.
Okay.
Trust your intuition, and don't be afraid to experiment and take risks.
And remember, in the first half of the year, with Jupiter in your 12th house, you'll have access to a wellspring of inspiration.
Oh, yes.
Pay attention to your dreams, your intuitive nudges, and those moments of sudden insight.
Those are messages from the universe, guiding you toward your highest potential.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we need to talk about another essential ingredient for success, and that's self-care.
Right.
This can be a tricky area for our action-oriented Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners. You're always on the go, always pushing boundaries, always striving for more.
It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of activity and forget to take care of your own needs. But with Saturn in the 10th house this year, self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity.
You need to make sure you're running on a full tank to achieve your goals and navigate the challenges that inevitably arise.
I completely agree.
So what specific self-care practices would you recommend for our listeners?
First and foremost, prioritize rest.
Okay.
I know it can be a challenge for these high-energy individuals,
Yes.
but getting enough sleep is crucial for maintaining physical, mental, and emotional well-being.
So create a relaxing bedtime routine, ditch the late-night screen time, make sure your bedroom is a sanctuary for rest and rejuvenation.
Exactly.
And don't underestimate the power of a good nap.
Oh, I love naps.
Even a short power nap can do wonders for restoring your energy and focus. And what about movement? We know Aries is a fire sign, so they need to express that energy physically.
Absolutely. Find activities that you enjoy, whether it's dancing, hiking, swimming, yoga, or simply taking a brisk walk in nature. The key is to move your body regularly and to find joy in the process.
And it's not about pushing yourself to the limit or striving for perfection.
Yeah.
It's about moving your body in a way that feels good
Yeah.
and honors your energy levels.
Exactly.
And don't forget about nutrition.
Oh, yes.
Fuel your body with nutrient-rich foods that support your energy levels and overall well-being.
So important.
So ditch the processed junk, opt for those whole foods, those colorful fruits and veggies, and those lean proteins.
Love it.
And remember, hydration is just as important as nutrition. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water throughout the day to keep your body and mind functioning optimally.
Stay hydrated.
So hydrate, nourish, and move your body. It sounds like a recipe for not just success, but also for overall vitality and well-being.
Precisely.
And as we navigate the ups and downs of 2025, remember that self-care is not selfish. It's an act of self-love and empowerment.
It's about honoring your needs and creating a solid foundation for achieving your goals and living a fulfilling life.
Now, in addition to rest, movement, and nutrition, there are other self-care practices that can be particularly beneficial for our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners.
Oh.
Tell me more.
One thing that's especially important for this combination is to find ways to quiet the mind and cultivate inner peace.
Yes.
With that constant influx of information and ideas, it's easy to get overwhelmed and feel mentally scattered.
It is.
So finding a way to create some stillness amidst the mental chaos. What kind of practices would you recommend?
Meditation is a wonderful tool for calming the mind, reducing stress, and cultivating inner peace. Even a few minutes of meditation each day can make a big difference. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You can simply sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and focus on your breath.
Exactly. And if you find your mind wandering, gently guide it back to the present moment. Another practice that can be helpful is journaling.
Ah, yes. Journaling is a great way to process emotions, release mental clutter, and gain clarity on your thoughts and feelings.
Precisely. You can use your journal to explore your dreams, brainstorm ideas, or simply jot down anything that's on your mind. The act of writing itself can be incredibly therapeutic.
And it doesn't have to be perfect or grammatically correct.
Sure.
Just let your thoughts flow onto the page.
Exactly. And remember, self-care is about finding practices that resonate with you and that you can incorporate into your daily life in a sustainable way.
It's about creating rituals and routines that nourish your mind, body, and spirit.
Now, in addition to these self-care practices, there are other strategies our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners can employ to make the most of this transformative year.
We've talked about goal setting, communication, creativity, and self-care. What other gems of wisdom do you have for our listeners?
Well, one thing that's particularly important for this combination is to stay organized and focused. With that Gemini tendency towards scattered energy, it's easy to get sidetracked and lose sight of the bigger picture.
So what's the antidote to that scattered energy?
Structure and routine.
Okay.
Create a schedule that works for you and stick to it as much as possible. Break down your tasks into smaller chunks.
Mm,
Prioritize your to-do list.
okay.
And don't be afraid to delegate when necessary.
So it's about finding that balance between the fiery, spontaneous energy of Aries and the need for structure and organization that comes with the Gemini rising.
Exactly. And remember, flexibility is key. Life is unpredictable, and things don't always go according to plan. Be willing to adjust, to adapt, and to go with the flow.
So stay organized, but also stay flexible.
Got it.
Hmm.
Any other tips for our listeners?
Yes. Embrace your intuition.
This is a year for trusting your gut, for following those inner nudges.
Right.
And for making decisions that feel aligned with your soul's purpose.
So don't overthink it. Don't second guess yourself. Just trust that inner voice and go for it.
Precisely. And remember, with Jupiter's influence in the first half of the year, your intuition will be heightened. This is the time to pay attention to those subtle whispers, those synchronicities, and those flashes of insight that come your way.
So tap into that cosmic wisdom, trust your gut, and let your intuition guide you.
Amazing advice. Now, before we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, any final words of wisdom for our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners?
Remember that you are a force to be reckoned with. You have the power to create a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. Embrace your strengths, harness your energy, and never be afraid to shine your light brightly.
Beautifully said. And that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive for our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners. We've covered so much ground, from goal setting and communication to creativity and self-care, but the journey isn't over yet. In part 3, we'll be exploring the shadow side of this potent combination.
Ooh, interesting.
Those potential pitfalls and challenges that you might encounter along the way. We'll also be sharing practical strategies for navigating those challenges and emerging even stronger and more resilient.
So stay tuned for part 3, where we'll delve into the depths of your cosmic blueprint and uncover the hidden gems that await you in 2025. Until then, keep shining bright.
We'll see you soon for the final part of our deep dive. We've charted a course through the potential for, triumphs and opportunities of 2025.
Yeah.
Now it's time to delve into the shadow side, those hidden challenges that might arise along the way.
Because let's be real, no cosmic journey is all sunshine and rainbows. Even with the best astrological support, we all face moments of doubt, frustration, or setbacks.
That's right. And for our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners, one of the biggest potential pitfalls is impatience. That fiery Aries energy wants to see results like now.
Right.
And that can sometimes lead to hasty decisions or frustration when things don't unfold as quickly as you'd like.
It's that classic ready, fire, aim approach. But how can our listeners channel that dynamic energy without getting ahead of themselves? How can they cultivate patience without losing that fiery spark?
That's a good question. One key is to shift your focus from the outcome to the process. Each step you take, even the small ones, is a victory. Celebrate those wins along the way. It's like climbing a mountain. You don't just magically appear at the summit. You have to appreciate the journey, the view from each new vantage point.
I love that analogy. And maybe practicing some mindfulness along the way could help too.
Absolutely. Mindfulness is about being present in the moment, accepting things as they are, and letting go of the need to control every detail. It's about trusting that the universe has a plan, even when things feel uncertain.
So breathe, observe, and trust the timing of your journey. Got it. Now, another potential challenge for this combination is a tendency towards scattered energy. All that mental agility and those multiple interests can sometimes lead to a lack of focus.
Yes, it's like having 1,000 tabs open in your mind at once. And while that can be incredibly stimulating, it can also lead to overwhelm and difficulty completing tasks.
So how can our listeners find that balance between exploring all those possibilities and staying focused on what truly matters?
Structure and routine are your allies here, as we discussed in part 2, but it's also about creating boundaries and minimizing distractions. Limit your exposure to social media, create a dedicated workspace, and practice time management techniques like the Pomodoro method.
So create a container for your energy, focus on one task at a time, and give yourself permission to unplug and recharge.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay to say no to things that drain your energy or pull you away from your priorities. Your time and attention are precious resources. Protect them fiercely.
Now, I know another challenge for our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners, can be a tendency to overthink things. That analytical Gemini mind can sometimes get stuck in analysis paralysis.
Yes, it's the classic what-if spiral. But here's the thing. Sometimes you just have to trust your gut and take action. Don't let overthinking hold you back from pursuing your dreams.
And so less thinking, more doing. I love it. Any other tips for overcoming this tendency to overanalyze?
Set a deadline for making a decision. Gather the information you need, weigh the pros and cons, and then trust your intuition to guide you towards the right choice. And remember, there's no such thing as a perfect decision. Sometimes you just have to jump in and learn as you go.
Now, with Saturn in the 10th house this year, there's also the potential for self-doubt and insecurity to creep in.
Yes, Saturn can amplify those inner critics, especially when it comes to your career and your sense of purpose.
So how can our listeners quiet those voices of self-doubt and step into their power?
Affirmations are a powerful tool for reprogramming those negative thought patterns. Start each day by affirming your strengths, your capabilities, and your worthiness of success. Surround yourself with supportive people who believe in you, and remember that everyone, even the most successful people, face moments of doubt along the way.
It's about recognizing that those inner critics are just a part of the human experience, and they don't have to control your actions or your beliefs.
Exactly. And remember, you have that fiery Aries spirit and that adaptable Gemini mind on your side. You're equipped to handle whatever challenges come your way.
So as we wrap up this final part of our deep dive, what parting wisdom do you have for our Aries Sun, Gemini Rising listeners as they embark on this transformative year?
Embrace your duality. You are a blend of fire and air, of action and intellect. You have the power to create a life that is both meaningful and exciting. Trust your instincts, learn from your challenges, and never be afraid to shine your light brightly.
What a beautiful message to leave our listeners with. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive. We've explored the potential highs and lows, the opportunities and challenges that await you in 2025.
Remember, the stars are simply a guide. Ultimately, you have the power to create your own destiny.
Now, before we say goodbye, don't forget to subscribe to ASTRALX for more cosmic insights and guidance. We're here to support you on your journey.
And if you're ready for a personalized deep dive into your own unique cosmic blueprint, we offer insightful audio readings delivered straight to your inbox. You can find the details in the episode description.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep evolving, and keep shining bright. May the stars guide you on your path.
Farewell, and may your journey be filled with wonder and fulfillment.